Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I've got a really fun edge-to-edge shaker card to show you, and we're going to be using a really cute birthday image that's going to be perfect for some of your springtime birthdays. So let's go ahead and take a look at this stamp set. This set is called the Special Window Set from Art Impressions, and you can see how pretty and festive this is. And again, this would be great for your spring birthday cards. Now, this is part of the Shadowbox Window series, so there is a Shadowbox Window die set available for this, but we're going to do this shaker card today. And you can see you get a little extra stamp there with some gift packages and a coordinating die for that as well. Now I've got some Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock in my mini MISTI stamp positioner. I'm inking that up with the Versafine Onyx black ink, and I'll go ahead and press that out with my STAMPendable stamp pressing tool. And I'm just going to add a little bit more ink here. I thought it looked a little bit light in the center, and press that out. Now I did decide to stamp those gift packages a couple more times. In the end, I did only use one set of the packages, but I think I'm going to use the extra two sets, one for the inside of the card and then one for the envelope. So that's why I created a couple extras, but you certainly don't need to do that. So let's start off with the peach pink and do this little banner at the top. And I'm using my Zig blender pen to blend that out. And these are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens that I'm using. These are a water-based pen. So as I always say, you could certainly use a water brush here to do your blending, but I do find the blender, you can control that ink a little bit better. It's not quite as wet as a brush might be. Now I'll go ahead and use that same color here for the candles on the cake and some of these other little items. I'm going to use it on the balloon, and I'll just use this one color. I'll just keep adding layers of that color to add more shadowing. So you don't always have to use 2 or 3 colors to do your blending. You can just use the one. You just keep coming back with that same color and adding layers to it. And that'll give you a really nice shadow. Sometimes it is hard to find a match. Like with this peach pink, sometimes it's a little hard for me to find something that would work well for the shadowing. Now here you'll see I'm going to use 2 colors, the yellow and the bright yellow, for a couple of those flowers. And then for the greenery, I'm using light green and deep green to do the leaves on these trees up at the top. And this is a cute little sentiment you have on this card. It says, "Sending a special message your way to have a wonderful, blessed birthday." And I love the way it goes all the way around the frame. So again, going back to that, this is part of the Shadowbox Window series. And that series is really cute. There are many different images like this that will fit inside those Shadowbox windows. And I have done some cards on those, so I will link a couple of those down below for you if you're interested in taking a look at that. But today I thought I'd do something a little bit different and create this shaker card. So here you can see I'm adding some shadows with that deep green. And then I'm just pulling that up and blending that out. So you just want some light and dark areas in the tree. Now just to let you know, all of the products I'm using today will be listed and linked down below and also on my blog. Now I've grabbed the beige. We're going to do the trunk of the tree or the branches on the tree. And I'll also use that same beige to color in this picnic table. And also, I have done other edge-to-edge shaker cards, and I will list a few of those down below for you as well. And you will find that these edge-to-edge shakers are really easy, actually so much easier than a standard shaker card. And I'll show you that here in a minute. I've switched over to the mid-brown, and I'm going to add some shadows to this picnic table and to the branches on the tree. So I sped up the coloring here a little bit just to give you an idea what I did, what colors I used. All the colors I'm using today will also be linked down below. So if you missed it as we're going along, you can find them there. So here you see I'm just adding a little shadow to the bottoms of each of those branches. Now I'm going back to that light green that we used up above, And I'm going to add some yellow to this. I want to create some highlights in that little grassy area behind the picnic table. And I'll do that on this side as well. So the coloring on these goes pretty quickly. It's a lot of little small areas, so it doesn't take long to fill in. And don't worry too much about your highlighting. We're going to use a white gel pen later on to add a few highlights here and there, and that'll just make everything pop out a little bit better. Again, I'm adding a little bit of that yellow just to give a little highlight on that grass. Now let's go ahead and grab the turquoise green. I'm going to do this balloon down at the bottom. And then we'll go to the light violet to do this balloon over here on the left-hand side. And then for that last balloon, I'm using the bright yellow. And then I'm just going to fill in a little bit of that greenery. I'm just going back to those same combination of colors to fill in the rest of the little open areas that I have here, finishing off my flowers with some of that yellow. And then I did decide to come in with a little bit more of a shadow at the top of that little mountainous area or that little hill. Now I've got the sugared almond pink, and I'll do the frosting in the pink. And then for the cake, I'm going to switch over to that beige again. And for the little platter that the cake is on, I'm using a light gray. And here again, I'm just filling in some of that confetti with the variety of the colors that we've already used. Those little streamers and confetti. I'll just mix up all those different colors. And then I'm grabbing some olive green to color in the stems on some of these flowers. I'm just trying to change out the green color so that it looks a little bit different. So I'm kind of mixing and matching my greens. And then I've got the light blue, and we'll finish up the sky. So now that that's all set, let's go ahead and finish off the package. And again, I'll just show you how I colored in one of these. I'm using the light violet. I'm not going to list the colors here because I'm just mixing and matching the colors that we've already used. And what's fun with the packages is you can add some stripes, some polka dots. You can really personalize these and have some fun with these. I'll be using my white gel pen to add a few little items of interest to these packages. So I colored the other two off camera, and you can see that there. So this is how this little scene comes together. And again, I just think this is perfect for any little springtime or summer birthdays that you might have coming up. So let's go ahead and grab that coordinating die that came with this set. I'll tape that down with a little bit of Post-it tape, and I'm running that through my Sizzix Sidekick machine. And I did that for all three of those. Now let's grab this square. These are the double stitched dies, and I'm going to grab the one that fits around this nicely but leaves a little white border, and this will create a really pretty stitched edge around this entire piece. Again, I'm going to run that through the Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And now I've got that white gel pen that I talked about earlier, and I'm just going to add some highlights here and there. And again, this will make everything pop out a little bit more. And here's where you can add some detail to the packages. I added some dots and stripes, just kind of mix those up. So let's go back to the square double stitch dies, and I'm going to grab this one. This measures about 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I'm taping that down to some Strathmore Bristol smooth cardstock, and again I'll run that through the Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. Now for paper, I'm using the Harvest Journal paper series, and this has some beautiful papers in it. Some stripes, some plaids, just a really nice collection of colors. And I'll go ahead and grab that blue and kind of a creamy color white stripe. And now we've already got that panel that we die cut, and I'm going to die cut this the exact same size as that white one. And we'll glue these two together. Actually, I'm using some double-sided tape to attach these together. And that's going to give a little bit more substance to this panel. So now I've got some plastic. This is just some plastics from some packaging that I had. And this works perfect for these edge-to-edge shaker cards. So I'm just cutting this down. I'm leaving maybe about a 1/2 inch all the way around. This is what's going to wrap around to create our shaker pocket. So I'm just, again, trimming this down to size. I'm using my Tim Holtz paper trimmer to do this. And now you can see that it's a little bit larger than the panel that we have. So let's flip this over and add some tape around all 4 sides. And you do want a nice strong adhesive here. And then I can go ahead and remove the backing from 3 sides of this panel. So I'm going to remove that backing from the 3 sides to create a little pocket here. We want to leave one side open so that we can put our little gems and embellishments inside there. So now I'm laying it right in the center of that plastic, and then I'll pull up all 3 sides. And I'll just tape those down. You could trim away those corners if you want to. I didn't have a lot of excess, so I wasn't too worried about that, but you could certainly just trim those on an angle. If you have a little bit of extra plastic, just trim that away. And you can see the top is open, and that's going to create the little pocket that we need. And we're going to be using these beautiful Spellbinders Color Essentials sequins. And I've got teal, purple, pink, and aura. Opalescent. They're all the Opalescent series. So I'm just going to take a few of each and just slide those right into that opening. And this is going to coordinate with all of the spring colors that we used on our little window. So this is our little shaker element, and now we can go ahead and close up the top of this pocket, and I'm just adding a few more just for a little bit more color. You could certainly add some glitter, some little pearls, anything that you like. I just thought this combination was so pretty. And now I'll remove the backing from that last side, and we can close this up. So now we have our little edge-to-edge shaker pocket. So that's going to go right in the center, and I'm going to again use that nice strong double-sided tape to tape this down, and I'll just center it on that panel. So now let's create the base that this will sit on. Now, normally an edge-to-edge would go right to the edge, but I decided to create a little bit larger card, and here I'm just trying to decide which set of packages I want for the front of the card, and I'll go ahead and tape that down. But we're going to create a panel that this will sit on. Now I thought, since I had some of that beige color in the wood, in the branches on the tree, and then on the little picnic table, that it would be pretty to bring in this kind of beige color paper, and this is from the Halloween journal series. And look at these papers. I just love these. But again, you can use your papers for various seasons. Just kind of dig through and see what you have. I'll go ahead and cut this down to size. This panel will measure 5 inches by 5 inches. This will also be the finished size of our card. So I've got this really pretty paper, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this right in the center. Now let's create the card base. This measures 5 inches by 10 inches. I'll score it at the 5-inch mark, and we'll have a nice square card. And keep in mind that when you're mailing these square cards, they do cost a bit more. So you do want to check the postage on these before you send these out. So now I'll go ahead and add some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to the back of this panel. And that glue is just going to give me a little time to move that around and make sure I have it lined perfectly on the card. And now we can just attach this. So I'm again going back to that double-sided tape. And I'm just making sure the tape is right up to the edges so that it'll sit nice and securely on the front of our card. So again, I'm just removing the backing, and I'll center this. And again, I thought that brought out some of the beige tones in the picnic table. And just kind of, I thought went really well with that pretty blue color. So I've got a few extra sequins that I'm going to attach on the front of the card, just to make it look like those sequins just kind of continue on outside of that little shaker pocket. Now I've got my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle to some of these elements. And so let me give you a closer look at the finished card. And don't you just love these little sequins? I just think they're so pretty. I love these opalescent sequins. They're just really nice and sparkly. So I've got again, that cute little sentiment around our birthday card. Still got those 2 extra sets of packages. One I'll use on the inside of the card when I decide to stamp that sentiment, and then for the envelope as well. And I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.